Hi, today I'd like to share with you the idea of how to get started writing a piece of music. What's the first step that you have to take? Sometimes it can be confusing exactly how to get started because most people will look at a blank page, which many times you'll be looking at a blank computer screen, but we talk about it as a blank page. And it's like, wow, what now? What do we do now? My name is Daniel Walker. I'm a film composer in Los Angeles. I'm based here working in the film and television industry. I also work as a modern classical composer throughout the world, and I am also the dean of the music department here at Shepherd University. So I come to you with a lot of experience. I've worked throughout my entire life in music, and I have had many experiences. So I can tell you that I've had my own difficulties in getting started with a project. How do you find the inspiration and all of that? So that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. Okay, so how do we get started? How do you get started? When you think about writing music, you might think that the way to get started is to look at a piece of paper, a piece of staff paper, and start to write notes down on it. Well, that's one way to get started. Another way may be to sit down at the piano and start playing something, or if you're a guitarist, you start playing guitar. Whatever your instrument is, you might want to start just improvising. That's another good way to get some ideas. But these are ways in which to express an idea that you probably already need to have. How do you originate the idea? Because the idea itself, you can't tell a story until you have the idea for the story. Writing the music down on the paper is kind of like writing the words on a paper or on a computer screen about a story that you already know, or that you know at least how to start. So what I want to talk to you today about is how to get the idea to start with. It's my feeling that you don't want to start with writing the music on a piece of paper or noodling on the piano or on your instrument. The idea is to find some inspiration and then start to think about what that inspiration might be saying to you as a person, because we need to find the point of all of this. We need to find the kernel that's going to grow into a new piece of music. So finding the inspiration could be anything. You can just look around. It could be in the room. It could be as you walk along the street. It could be as you're driving. It could be in a piece of music you're listening to on the radio. It could be anything. Just as an example, I was looking for an inspiration for a new project, and I went to a bookstore, and the bookstore had a lot of books that showed pictures of architecture and art and photography, and I happened to find a couple of books about a certain subject that had to do with a place, a city that was in Asia, and the pictures were very interesting and inspiring to me to look at, and somehow this helped me to formulate an idea. So the inspiration, that's the first step. You need to find some inspiration. You need to find something that you want to say, because music is a language that you're using to say something with. So that's the first step. Find some inspiration. It could be anywhere. Just walk around. Just don't try to find it. Just let it find you. Sometimes that's the best way. The next step is to, I find that creating a title for the piece of music is very helpful, because then you have an idea of a point where you're trying to go to. So if, let's say, you find a piece of inspiration, let that piece of inspiration speak to you a little bit, and a title might come to you, or something that will help you to focus your mind on what will be the point of your new work. Both of these things are going to kind of start to help you to put you on a pathway towards creating the new idea that you're coming up with. Then I think the next step is to create a plan for the music. Rather than to start to write pieces of melodies and this and that, create a plan for the music. What's it going to be? Is it going to be, is it a song? And if it's a song, what form is it going to take? Is it going to be in 3 parts? Is it going to be in 2 parts? And what are the instruments that are going to be in the song or the piece of music? Is it going to have a solo instrument that's a particular sound that you want, like a trumpet or a piano or a guitar or a vocal? could be any of these things. If it's let's say it's a piece of music that has three parts, and a typical piece of classical music with three parts usually starts with a part that's kind of exciting, and in the middle is a part that's kind of slow and romantic sometimes, and the last part is even more exciting to sort of give a big finish. What's your piece of music going to be like? What do you want to make as far as a plan for the piece of music is? So those three things are the way to get started, and sometimes I find that keeping a journal, writing down, or in an idea book, for example, you write down your ideas and you can go look at them later and see what you thought at that time, because most of the time we forget from day to day what we've tried to come up with the day before. So write these ideas down. So these are the three things that I think would be the best way to start. It's the way that I use to get started on writing a new piece of music. And we haven't talked at all about notes or about melody or about music in general. We're talking about an idea, and the idea is the source. It's the place where you start. First, find some inspiration, something that you like. A student of mine, I asked a student of mine to do this, and she came back and she said something about her cat. There was a cat that lived at her house that inspired her in some way, and so she started to write a piece of music that expressed this cat somehow to her. So find some inspiration. Number two, start to come up with an idea for a title which will connect to the inspiration. And number three, start to create a plan. What's the overall plan for the music? Is it going to be fast, slow, any of these things? Write these ideas down. Also, it's very important for you to not think that maybe your idea isn't good enough, or maybe you have a better idea tomorrow. You need to give yourself the freedom to come up with new thoughts and new ideas without having someone in the back of your mind, like an editor or your teacher, saying, "Oh no, you can do better than that," because that will always stop you. So I recommend that you start to write down any idea that you have. Let it just flow out of you. Don't try to say, "Oh, that's not good enough," or "Oh, that's not smart enough," or "That's not as good as my friend," or this famous person that you like. Let your ideas be your own. Let them flow out. Write them all down and come up with an idea that is piece of inspiration for your piece, and then you have a direction. After that, after you have this idea and you feel like you have a point and something to say, then you can start writing music, and that will be the subject of the next video that we talk about. How do you get started actually writing the notes? Okay, so just to sort of summarize a little bit about what we talked about in this video, we talked about how to get started in writing a piece of music by developing an idea. And that idea comes from a bit of inspiration that you see. It's part of your life. Maybe it's your parents or a friend or anything. And that turns into coming up with a title for the piece that maybe, of course, may change, but it may stay the same, but that'll help you focus your mind as well. And then coming up with a plan of what the piece is, what's your vision for the piece? What do you want it to be? Because the world is the creative world is an open book, and you can do whatever you want. There's many ways to accomplish what you feel like you set out to do. Those three things are the way to begin an idea, so that you can then go about writing a piece of music. And if you liked this video, if you felt that it was helpful to you, then please share it with your friends, and come visit our website, the school website, CSCM. Cornell School of Contemporary Music. Come visit us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, visit us at our social media sites as well, and give us some advice or give us some thoughts of yours. We'd like to hear from you. So we'll see you next time.